So ChatGPT work, Claude Cowork, and Microsoft Cowork are taking enterprises by storm. Is this the end of AI transformation as we know it? You might be tempted to think so, but I have a different perspective. First off, these tools are something different than what we've seen before. These tools, on one hand, combine some amazing data sources, like they have access to all of your email, your chat at work, like Microsoft Teams or Slack or whatever else that you might be using. They have access to your work files, and then they have a series of skills that they come pre-built with. So you can build a presentation, you can build an amazing Word document, you can build a strategy deck, for example, or a dashboard, and they come with lots and lots of connectors. You can connect to your Power BI, you can connect to your data warehouse, do SQL queries, or run complex, forecasting models, and so on and so forth. Personal productivity seems to be largely solved so far as what I can do during my day is concerned. But is that the end of AI transformation? Well, far from it. Because as far as the business is concerned, the needle needs to move beyond personal productivity. If you can take an example of a credit card business, you have so many different parts to the business, and each part becomes more productive. The individuals within that part become more productive. The business as a whole becomes a bit more productive, obviously, but it is not moving the needle. Because we have to go back to the nature of these tools, right? So these tools are really good within a personal context. So, for example, I want to read data and perform analysis. I work in, let's say, the team that is looking at the credit card offers. For me, if I have access to the right set of connectors, I can understand how my offers are performing, and then I can potentially roll out offers faster, and I can do things. But if the overarching goal is to improve customer value proposition, then it's going to have to move beyond that, right? So it's going to have to move across boundaries, from a person who's managing the offers to person who's designing the product proposition to a person who is actually looking at the customer feedback. And in this case, the context is shared, or it's much wider than what an individual is exposed to at any given point in time. The other thing that we should note about these tools is primarily they are good at reading stuff, but what they're not good at is updating or writing to a system of record. There is no problem with AI. The AI is more than capable of doing that, but it's not a natural interface. So imagine you're a underwriter, and you're dealing with a case, and you're dealing with, let's say, a new product. Then you have to be in the system of record, even if you can populate all that information through tools in the AI agent. It's not the most natural place to be, because you don't know what your team is working on, or you don't know what happened day before yesterday, and the chat is like just too ephemeral and too personal an interface to actually enable that. What this means is that in order to have an effect on the business end of the AI transformation, you need to have very structurally sound, constructed, shared context at the semantic layer. And there is, although it's a very old term, some people are calling it the ontology, but what it is a way to organize like a layer on top of, let's say there are 9 areas and 9 different systems, areas where these individual teams are interacting with their business process. Then you have a layer that is shared on top of that, and this layer has access to everything. So in this area, you track, for example, goals like improve customer value proposition, or improve the service for the customers by providing them with, let's say, better offers. Then you can see and trace back, like right from customer complaints to legal implications to offers to analytics to I don't know, card operations to, all of the things can kind of just suddenly that layer becomes accessible. It's not only like a systems problem. Obviously, if you wish to use AI in a very effective manner, then you need the team construct as well to go along with that. So I think that is a really interesting thing. So no, we are not looking at the end of AI transformation as we know it. We are far from it, And what is going to be always more important is the ability to have this shared context, or if you prefer to call it the semantic layer, or if you prefer to call it the ontology layer on top of your business overarching, goes back to the basics of data, goes back to the basics of having the teams and the people organized correctly, having the right people in the right place, and that is how AI transformation will move forward.